Hey ladies and gentlemen, how you guys been doing? It's your boys in here, and I know it's been a while since you saw my toothless face, but yeah, a lot of shit went down. You know, I attended fitness, I got work right now, I got a lot of things going on that I have to prepare myself for, plan, and there was just no actual space to attend YouTube. But then again, you know, sometimes you just gotta stabilize your shit, you know. Basically, but really I was incredibly surprised and semi-fascinated by what went down recently on the internet. Let me try to explain. You guys are pretty much well aware of the last predator that was announced, Dekadurr or something his name was, and there was a girl that was of course the victim. I'm gonna put my opinion out there, my thoughts, my personal thoughts regarding that. Now bear in mind that I will not I'm not gonna see these situations as my personal business. I personally believe that stuff really do get out of hand, and we make it we put all our news, even the worst traumas, out there, and we make other people kind of like we seek shelter in other people's arms in a way. And people tend to see victims as complete victims, perfect people without any flaws whatsoever, and we see the one that is responsible like the absolute baddest of the bunch. Like, I'm talking slaughter him, kill him, destroy his reputation. They would just put a fork and just go after him and it's over. It's actually very black and white thinking. I want to be neutral about this. I want to be real, and I know some people will not agree with what I'm about to say while we dive into this, but it's going to be a long video. There's a lot of things I want to discuss, but again, I want to be neutral, and the reason I'm making this video, while I don't consider myself being part of the Pokemon community, is because I found everything that went down very fascinating. I'm a person that likes to analyze situations, analyze people's behaviors. You know, psychology is something that I'm a huge in love with in a certain way, one could say. I always like to listen to some very smart minds like Peterson and you know, other people that are involved into that categories. And I personally believe that, you know, everything that went down, it's actually quite extreme. So, you know, Nappy-Callum, if you guys don't know, the situation that happened between them, you guys probably know who TheKingNappy is. He's a well-established YouTuber, and a YouTuber that I have not really followed. I know he did some co-op let's plays with the likes of Shady and other people. You know, they like to do business contracts with each other and pretty much make it, you know, the big guys will play games with the big guys, and this is how they grow. You know, it's the business way of thinking, and I cannot really blame him for that. YouTube for some people is complete business. It's pleasure second, business first. And some people have the power to have pleasure in business put together. Those people are just, wow, just incredible. But in some cases, those people have a lot, you know, way less subscribers, because YouTube doesn't really. There's rare situations, and you got to be lucky to make it and still enjoy it. A lot of people get corrupt by money, but still, I'm making this video right now. I'm not gonna monetize this because this is gonna be a very mature discussion I want to talk about. It's probably going to be some words in here that I may just put it into age restriction just for the sake of it. I don't want any minors to watch this. I don't see the point in 12-year-olds watching this to be, you know, big, since it's a sexual topic and so forth. Basically, I'm gonna be talking first of all about the guy called let me check here. Let me check his name. Dekadurr. Right, sure. With a dad name, you know you got yourself a problem. No, I'm just joking. But of course I'm joking. Why would I have to mention that? It was awkward. Taking a sip of coffee. Yes. Basically, Dekadurr, this situation happened 5 years ago. Between a girl that was a YouTuber that stopped posting videos completely, and what happened? Basically, Dekadurr was having a conversation with her. She thought he was her friend, and she wanted to take use of her. Basically, he was kind of being he was trying to take the girl to a whole new level, but she was 15 basically, so she was underage. Depending on the state where you live in, the countries, 18 here in Europe is mostly the default age to be an adult, a young adult, but in some countries it's 21. Some countries is less, but let's put it like from my perspective, at least as I would look, 18, but she was 15, so she was underage without a doubt there. But he was 21, so in either case he was a young adult, and mature age for that matter. But he wanted to take a whole new step to a whole new level there. He wanted to, to kind of make her, he kind of wanted to get under her curtains, under her dress, basically, by having those low discussions where it just escalates up and up and up, and making the person feel bad about not doing something they want because they did something for them, like exposing themselves nude to a certain extent because it was hot, the weather was hot, and then expecting the girl to do the same. Of course, the girl was kind of struggling with that situation since he was 15, and she was also naive while he was 21, taking the whole control over her. And basically what happened is that he was text manipulating her, and it was not a pleasant situation for the girl to be in. As everything went down, he was a predator that was craving on seeing a 15-year-old girl naked on the internet. And while people say he is a pedophile for doing so, I don't consider him a pedophile. I'm going to try to be real here. Pedophiles are there are people that tend to crave very young meat here. I'm saying meat because that's how he is. 8-year-olds, I'm talking like 7-year-olds to 12 to 13. 15 is more of a mass situation. The reason I'm saying this is because 15 is really just going up now. In our cases, this is like taking secondary school when you're 15 years old. Some people even go above that while they're 15 years old. And I know no matter how you look onto it, she was the victim, and at the same time she was the fool that was being used. But she was naive and she was 15 years old, and nobody's going to blame her for doing these mistakes. Now the only problem to this is that text, if it's only text, there was no voice call, video calls, there was no exposure of that nature. Basically, there was no physical confrontation, which is a huge thing. If it was only cyberbullying, which tends to be sexual assault over text, then this is not going to stick in court. If this sticks in court after 5 years, which I don't believe the girl even wants to go that far with this, while everybody knows what he did. If this goes into the media, his reputation is fucked. Like absolutely destroyed, without even going physical with her, without even attempting a sexual assault with her, just over text. Basically, he could easily have. There's a lot of loopholes he could do if this went to court, which they would probably not take this situation seriously, considering that people can say, well, my hack was account. This was not me. Was hacked. This was not me making the statements with her. This was not me talking to her. There's a lot of loopholes they can do, and nobody's going to be able to prove anything because 5-year-old cases. And I'm sorry to say this, but 5-year-old cases should stay 5-year-old cases and closed. As bad as it sounds, and we know this person is a twisted individual that crave upon young girls, underage girls. At the same time, this happened 5 years ago, and it's really good, and I give props to the girl for her courageousness to get her feelings and everything out of her chest. But the problem with this is that the world makes it their own personal problem, and people put their forks and they go after a person. They look at them as the worst epitome of, like, the worst shits ever. And now we have other people that did mass murdering, and their faces were never revealed to the people. So they went to the prison, but then they came out and nobody knew what they did because nobody could remember their faces because it was actually closed down. But nowadays with the internet, you can just expose people on their bad behaviors, on their bad ways, criminal ways, of course. But at the same time, somehow, that is okay. I used to think that exposing people in a very serious manner could be backfired on you if they can actually protect their asses, which is a horrible situation to be in. So you have to be 100% sure that what you have is not only text, because as an editor, I know the text can even be edited, and in no way am I saying the girl's text would be edited, because that would be kind of dumb. Why would anything of this nature even be even coming up to existence? But all loopholes, man. A lot of shit can go down, and with no physical confrontation, you really got no cases to talk about. A lot of people on the internet get death threats. Their families get death threats, and you don't see other people, tracking IP addresses of those people. These are people that are basically trolls. They're very negative people. They got their own sort of problems. Clearly, it's very good to get a person out there to be exposed to certain situations like this, but 5 years situations can change a person, and that's a problem. We don't know these people. I don't know that girl, how she is in real life. I don't know that guy, how he is in real life. A lot of people have different persona on the internet. I like to be real with everybody on the internet as much as I'm outside. You know, if I'm vulgar, if I'm doing my Let's Plays, and I tell you, in my Let's Plays, some of the people may not like me, but I'm loving the moments that I have in my Let's Plays, because I can swear, I can do all the shit, and I can be entertaining, most of all to myself, as much as other people out there, or hopefully people find it entertaining. You know, being a little bit crazy, but basically, you know, trying to be real here, but some people can be completely something else on the internet. So a lot of people want to be this perfect image, you know, and some people are this devastating predators, but at the same time, not devastating, but more like desperate predators. I personally, you know, as a man looking onto other people like this and seeing what they see in a 15-year-old, I would see this man and I would say he's a very, he probably doesn't consider himself very smart, because a 15-year-old girl mentality would not be well developed, and there's a lot of shit, a lot of things in life that we have to go through life to develop. And I'm not saying there's not young people that are very smart. Of course there are, but there's a lot of stuff that have to be learned through life, and this is what really boggles my mind. And what do they see? A 15-year-old outside of a very naive person, a victim, which they can really manipulate. And this is a very predatory way. A lot of people that are in categories that are predators, they will see victims, they will see the weakest links in the group of people, and they will use them. And I'm not talking this underage people, I'm talking about all age people. They will smell that. They will be able to smell that and dominate that, basically. So yeah, those people become victims, and they're just, you know, how they perceive their life, and that just the bad in the person, I guess, however one would see it. So, but it's not so black and white, you know, because I read the comments and how people would support her, and everybody would get so personal with the situation. It's like it's their own personal business, but it was never their own personal business. If you went too far with this, you may as well go to the police and make it their business, because they are the authority, they are the law. You know, the court should state this, the court should handle this. If they cannot handle this, then we humans can only bitch and moan, but at the end of the day, this will not help anybody. This will only make a mouse into an elephant, and the awareness is okay, but at the same time, it feels so black and white. One is the complete victim, perfect, no problem with them, they're clean as fuck, they're the saint of all saints, and another is the complete evil. It is the epitome of darkness. It will devour you, so you have to kill it, you have to destroy it, you have to do everything in your power to completely shut it down. Ignorance is a bliss. Ignorance is, in this case, very, very visible, very visible. There's no gray. Why is there no gray opening here? This is why I want to be neutral. How do you say? I admire the strength in the girl to be able to express in a way that she did, to speak out in the situation that happened to her, traumatizing clearly. And at the same time, I want to see the guy. He was 21 on the internet. That guy's personality, I mean, that guy's whole name that he made up on here is going to be fucked. And in a way, you know, I'm not going to say I don't believe he doesn't deserve it. But the 5-year-old cases, there are worse viral cases than text messaging that were closed down a year in, and I'm talking way worse. You know, no physical confrontation. For me personally, I don't take it as serious, and I know this could be psychological, emotional. The psychological is worse. Psychological torment. You have so many ways to completely shut them down. You can block them. You can change your email. You can even expose them before. You know, yeah, it's a horrible situation. It is a horrible situation. I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say she wasn't the victim in that case, but the people that say, you know, 15-year-old, when you're 15-year-old, yes, you aren't responsible, you're being kind of stupid as a 15-year-old, you're gonna make your own stupidity and stupid things, but then again, 21-year-old, it's not like a fucking mountain of intelligence and wisdom. There's a lot of 21-year-old that think like 12s, and there's really the 6-year gap. You're not going to learn that much in 6 years. Plus, there's a lot of 15-year-olds that are much more grown up than there are 21-year-olds, you know. So we cannot really, if we say they're very naive and they're victimized and, you know, they're the perfect example, then you're just saying that they were really stupid when they were 15. And they were so stupid that they can be used and abused and raped and every bad thing happening to them because they were just dumb. And you would just justify it with being dumb. I wouldn't like that, you know, if that happened to me, and I would, you know, people would say, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. Back in my mind, I would think, well, I'm 15 already. You know, I attend school, secondary school at that point. I mean, we got, you know, classes that are very demanding at some point also. So, yeah, with demanding classes, I would still feel kind of a bit on the smarter side, to a certain extent at least, to think with my head, to at least, you know, to at least not be completely dumb. So I wouldn't like to hear people say, you know, it's never your fault, man. Even if you're 17, it's not your fault, as long as you're not adult age. Of course, you know, being manipulated like this will, you know, it's not okay from the other person, but at the same time, the girl was 15, and there was a lot of ways she could have easily followed her gut and just close down the discussion with him any moment there, you know. But if I pick sides, of course I would pick the girl's side. There's no question about that. I mean, what he did, he's a weak man with a weak mentality, feeling stupid for himself, probably looking for, you know, easy targets because he cannot get himself a mature woman, basically. That's how I look onto it. But with that situation out of hand here, again, I'm trying to make it personal, I'm just trying to see the both pictures. I want to discuss something that went down recently between TheKingNappy and Callum, and also Gamebo Luke mentioned this. And again, these are the people that were quite well known. They made their name unknown out there. We cannot bash on their success. None of these people, none of the names that I just mentioned, I cannot bash on their success. I don't know any of these people in real life. I know there's a lot of people in here for glory and fame, for money. But then again, we are all YouTubers. We all seek attention. There's going to be people telling you they don't seek attention. They're just fooling you, because a YouTuber has to seek attention. They want to be heard. And this is why a lot of things, personal things, become seen and exposed to the public, where people can take it personally, which is the worst. That's the worst move you can do. And the situation that happened, everybody is getting out here. Predators are being exposed left and right. I mean, I was falsely accused of being a pedophile for example, retweeting a hentai girl that was being analyzed and actually in check. But it was fantasy, and if we're being mature here, fantasy is not reality. And hentai is freedom of speech, is the creator's way of being expressed. And I was retweeting a hentai girl. Basically, my Twitter was questionable to a lot of people, but I think you're only living in your life when you actually make stuff questionable and not making your stuff so-called normally accepted as always, as everybody would have everything completely perfect and sleek and, you know, clean as shit. Just being yourself a little bit abnormal, a little bit normal, as long as you aren't affecting anybody out there on a negative way, of course. Just be happy, you know, that's what I'm trying to say here. So I retweeted back then that tweet. I also made it clear, 18, you know, I don't want minors to be on my Twitter. I also like when there's more adult age here watching this, and I know these topics would probably be watched by more adult age. That's why I'm going to restrict it. I don't want youngers watching this, and I don't got problems with that. It's just that as a 30-year-old, I like myself having viewers that are, you know, more in age up there. I always wanted that. Even when I was 20, I wanted my age to be watching me more. But Pokemon has its levels still. Going back to that, the expose of hentai, and then Relistify say, you know, this is completely unacceptable, this hentai girl and shit of that nature. But it's hentai, you know. You're not gonna categorize the whole Japan as a pedophile, right? And me, myself, I got a girlfriend, and she's 25. My ex, for example, she's 27. And yeah, while my girlfriend, if you would look at her, you would probably think she's 15, but she is 25, and she thinks like a 25. Very smart and wise. You know, with her own sets of problems, as much as I have my own sets of problems. We got a 5-year gap, and looking at my personal taste, I like myself like 5-year-old gap between 5-year-old, no, but 5 years in between the age. So I'm 30, she's 25. I think that's like a sweet spot. The lowest I would go was probably like 8 years difference. Prefer younger than me, but then again, I also talked to a girl that was 3 years older than me. She was mentality, she was beyond wow. She was up there, very smart. I couldn't even handle that. But at the same time, you know, it was a good experience. Still looking onto it, I was being falsely accused, and I think the biggest problem with the internet is the people that do get falsely accused. You know, I can only take myself as an example, but there was a lot of people that got accused, and then they realized there was nothing really going on, and people were doing for attention, and that is the worst that can happen to a person. You know, I'm not going to speak about my situation. I'm just putting my situation as a small example here. But this, what I'm about to say, is not falsely accused. This right here is something that went down between Nappy-Callum and Game Boy Luke. I'm going to read something, guys. I'm going to read TheKingNappy, that was also a friend with Dekadurr. And of course, since everything went out, TheKingNappy wanted to completely, you know, case closed with Dekadurr and stuff, you know, wanted to publicly mention, since people know they were close friends. I'm gonna read what TheKingNappy had to say about Dekadurr, starting now. So I want to start off this by apologizing for not speaking publicly about the situation sooner. I'm gonna analyze this because as wow, unbelievable. Again, guys, I want to analyze because I like to analyze situations, and I'm not saying speak without this kind of problems. I do speak with this kind of problems as well, which I do notice them, but fuck it, you know. Still, I'm gonna speak what I see as bullshit in this text. So he's starting by apologizing. That is already a bad move. You don't apologize. You should be apologetic for whatever other people did. You are not their parent. If they did something wrong, it's not your responsibility to speak it out. You can be completely silent. Heck, you can even be his friend and nobody should judge you for it, because at the end of the day, who you're spending your life with, it's not people's business. Even if they are the worst, the epitome of hell, it's your choice with who you live your life with. It can speak to people about what you are and what you like, but at the same time, what they do is not what you do. So it's not the same, you know. You aren't a perfect being, you know. You're gonna have people that act like they're a bunch of sociopaths. They're gonna have people that are very narcissistic. You're gonna have, you know, nobody's perfect, but you will understand that it's not so black and white, you know. So a person like this doesn't mean that he should not have any friends whatsoever. There are gonna be friends out there that are not gonna leave his back, even after what he did. You know, it's simple as that. And we should not hate him for it. No apology here should be expressed, to be honest. After talking to a few different friends, I understand why my take on the matter is so sought after and why it was wrong of me to not speak up sooner. I'll explain my thoughts process behind that later in this post. First and foremost, I want to make this absolutely clear. Absolutely, okay? Not clear, absolutely clear. So you are clear. You have to be clear. That Nathan's actions are incredibly cruel. So I guess his name is Nathan. Okay, we got that now. I'm reading this first time, guys, just to make it interesting for myself as well. Are incredibly cruel and unforgivable. They are incredibly cruel. I don't believe in unforgiveness. I could be naive right now, but unforgiveness means that no matter what these people do in their life, it's like you can just hang at this point. You know, saying unforgivable, it's a hard thing to do, since it's like saying no matter what you do in life now, nobody's going to forgive you. But how is that possible? Not religious guy, but doesn't Jesus, forgive everything? You just got to pray a couple of times. Okay, all jokes aside, I can 100%, Jesus Christ, he really wants to make it clear. He doesn't say 99%, which would be the current state and the right way of saying it, at least I believe, because nothing is 100%, but I'm overanalyzing. But saying 100%, I assure you that there wasn't a single person aware of that, what Nathan was doing. So he's saying that he wasn't aware. If we had been aware, we would take actions years ago. And yeah, you would make it your own personal business. Okay, I understand. And Nathan, since he is his friend, right, would not have been considered our friend to any extent. We understand. TheKingNappy is taking charge here, saying that Nathan is the bad guy and I'm a good guy. So it's gonna be funny. It's gonna get funny later. In the past, there has been rumors around Nathan and how he conducted himself, and admittedly, we should have looked into them further. No. You don't have to look into anything further because you don't work on investigations. You are not part of the jury in the law. It's like everybody wants to be the fucking court master here, and now being led on by lies. After the fact, it's always been very easy to say what you would have done, and if anything, this is an introspective learning experience. A mistake can always be fixed. Mistakes can be fixed by, mistakes are being learned from, so he's making mistakes in a way. He's a horrible person, but he made mistakes, and you have to be learned from, and that is why I'm saying that the word unforgiven is a very hard and harsh word to say. But then again, at the same time, it's justifiable for the time being. Fixed by learn from what you did wrong in this situation. I understand the places I went wrong, whereas Nathan does not grasp that concept at all. I'm not surprised about that. Again, he's a predator. People like this are very, very, at least I would think they're very dumb. Making Jesus Christ, some people like this. I don't want to talk about Nathan. He's not he's not impressive. Let's say he's not really an impressive guy. So I don't want to talk about him. I want to talk about people that are impressive. When it comes to speaking up or speaking out on the, I want to talk about TheKingNappy because I think he's actually impressive in a way. He's impressive on the name that he made for himself, and how double-edged he came out with this. I'm just gonna read the whole thing here. I messaged Nathan early Tuesday morning when I had learned about what was going on, and I immediately cut ties with him. I removed his emote from my Twitch channel, removed him from our blah 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 blah. Okay, so he completely fucking destroyed him, right? And first of all, that's his ways. That he was his friend before this happened, before, probably before stuff happened. Clearly he does not support him, but again, as I mentioned, it's not so black and white to think like this, and he has to still stabilize his name. TheKingNappy knows that his name is at risk here. He has to completely shut him off. TheKingNappy could be the only person that, this guy, this bad guy, would try to kind of found some sort of support in, but as a friend that he is, he will completely shut down his ties with him because of the girl he never knew. But at the same time, for the action that he did, he doesn't support him on that, and for that, bad actions will make you lose a friend, and that is how life works. Clearly, but what really is discussing here is the next thing TheKingNappy said. Nappy the Great. Remove several videos from Nappy the Great. Damn, your names are so fucking twisted. KingNappy and then Nappy the Great. What is that? You know, it's Guy King the Great. That anime was awesome. That prominently featured him. I'm disgusted by his actions, and for me, I felt that I had handled the situation accordingly. This is twisted because what he's saying is what he was doing as well. Callum, or if that is his name, he was 16, and KingNappy was, I believe, also mature age, and he had romantic interest for him. Now, Callum knew about that, and they had problems. And then I heard Gameboy Luke, for example, had same situation. He had romantic interest. Basically, they were in a relationship to a certain extent for 2 years. Gameboy Luke said, actually, I'm going to read this right now. And this was all KingNappy's doing. So can you see how the hypocrisy works? People are going to say, I'm so disgusted by these people, you know, by this person, and completely cut them down. Be sure, man, those people can have something to hide as well, because they want stuff to not damage their name. Okay, so here's where Luke said. What I say through is that Nappy is a complete sociopath and will manipulate his way through whatever situation he finds himself in. Yeah, there are power craving. Then again, sociopaths, narcissists, high narcissist level, everybody has a certain level of narcissism in them, self-centeredness to a certain extent. Again, YouTubers, we have an attention-seeking span. We like attention. We like to be heard. But then again, to succeed in life, you have to make charge. You have to take charge. It doesn't really make you a sociopath, but it does make KingNappy a huge liar, and that is how I see it. KingNappy saw, you know, what happened between his friend and that girl. He took charge in completely shutting him down, saying how righteous he was about doing that. And then afterwards, you know, doing the shit with the 16-year-old Callum, you know, completely probably emotionally, you know, investing and being romantically interested because he's a bisexual. And, you know, bisexual, heterosexual, homosexual, that doesn't matter. But the fact that matters is he was doing the same shit with a guy, you know, and you know, well, he wasn't escalating to show me pictures, but no, he was, you know, having interest with an underage. He loves power and will do anything to control for the best of his abilities. I was pressured to be in a relationship with him for like almost 2 years. I don't understand, Gameboy Luke, man, how you were pressured to be in a relationship with him for 2 years. If you knew he was pressuring you. And I'm not too sure on his age back then, but I know Callum was 16, but I'm not too sure about your age. But at the same time, I would say I'm sorry to say that, I'm sorry to hear this, but I cannot say this because I wouldn't be real. I don't know Gameboy Luke, but I can say that, you know, it's good that you talked about it. It's good that you expose a hypocrite, because I think hypocrites are the worst people you can stick with. To expose him like this, especially after what he said about his friend, while him being pretty much just out there, you know, the same, but still being a little bit more smarter about it. I guess. I don't know. Is KingNappy smart? I don't know. I mean, he just kind of put himself into a trap by himself somehow. But he was risking it. I mean, risking it with very known names. So I'm also very surprised about that. KingNappy, I mean, very, very surprised about the situation that's happened here. Everybody's getting exposed. Gameboy Luke, again, how are you actually pressured to be in a relationship? I mean, yes, these people did attend the events and they were confronted with each other. I believe that's the one thing that the Dekadurr guy was not confronted with the girl, at least not from what I heard. That's a huge difference when you think about it. I mean, being confronted physically, I mean, in front of them is something that, you know, that situation didn't happen. But here we got Luke and we got Callum and KingNappy. I'm pretty sure KingNappy attended events and Callum attended events. Dekadurr wanted to attend events, but since what happened now, they completely shut him down for PAX and all those other events, to which, you know, of course, it's reasonable, understandable why. Since it could go into the media, it could become a bigger issue, but I don't think the girl actually wants it to be a bigger issue. But then again, the worst that can happen already happened. His name was exposed, his face was exposed, his life is at question, and it's pretty much at risk when you think about it. And if it goes on the media, yeah, you can just forget it. You know, they're probably gonna perceive you worse than you kill a person. But basically, it's quite strange. Everything that happened here is quite fucked. I'm gonna read you guys this right now. What happened between Callum and Nappy? This was 2013. I'm really surprised how people speak about 6 years ago. And again, I'm trying to see everybody's perspective and hypocrisy in the situations. But I don't know any of these people in real life. I never spoke to them, so I can only speak from what was perceived out of the interest that happened, because it is fucking insane, and it's interesting to say the least. Near the end of 2013, Nappy told me he had feelings for me. I was 16 at that time, and he was 21. I mean, don't you see any resemblance here? We're talking TheKingNappy being against that guy. He, I believe, was 21 and the girl was 15. So the only difference here is genders, and clearly that Callum was 1 year older than the girl. But the situations clearly were still emotionally and psychologically manipulating to a certain extent. I initially told him I didn't feel the same way, since I believe Callum is heterosexual. Since Nappy has romantic interests, I would assume he is bisexual. Maybe he's homosexual, I cannot say, and that I couldn't be in a relationship with him. A week or so passed, and during that week we still spoke and hang out in calls, but he was acting very weird, and eventually he told me he couldn't be friends with me because he had feelings for me. Yeah, it's I mean, he's at least being open and honest, and he wasn't you know, asking him for sending him dick pictures, you know. At least he wasn't doing that. So TheKingNappy, you know, the good points goes to you on that one. Here, first times in the past where he had feelings for people that he worked with that didn't have feelings back to. Oh no. Oh shit. Okay, this is traumatizing. Guys, what I'm about to say is quite traumatizing. It seems that TheKingNappy has a psychological issue here, a huge psychological issue. We're not talking about a sociopath. We're talking about a person that didn't get any attention when he was younger. We're talking about a person that was completely neglected. Whether he was bullied, heavily bullied in school, or whether he was completely neglected, this could be a huge parenting issue. Since it all makes sense when you think about it. High God complex to a certain extent also comes out of that. Wanted to be seen to an extreme level, and this is quite severe. Yeah. But again, at least he had the courtesy to speak about it and not go into vulgar territory. He didn't ask Callum of anything uncomfortable, let's say. Well, if he hit 18 here in Europe, or if he hit 21 there, you know, he could have easily said those things if he wanted to and not be accused of anything. Meant to block him. He had to the same with me, but because our jobs were online, it basically meant he's blocking me everywhere. You see, you can completely bypass all the problem issues with people if you got problems. If people are being territorial, if people are being predators against you. But in this case, it was actually Nappy blocking Callum. He gave me an ultimatum: date him or we'll no longer friends. I date him. Okay, so I'm reading this first time. So date him, I guess he really had a romantic, but really to have romantic interest in so many people, emotionally connected with so many people, it's very interesting. But it's escalating to some traumatizing situation that he had as a young boy that he probably didn't talk about. He probably didn't get it out there. He probably didn't find the right people to how to say, the right friends, the right relationship, even the fucked up relationship, but still being in the right relationship, the fucked up ones, to be able to learn and develop. I think YouTube is gonna hold him back if he stays here. He probably needs to get out there more. That's what I think, at least. I don't want to give a sub story, but growing up I didn't have many friends, so now that I finally have some online, I really didn't want to lose them. Eventually agreed to try dating Nappy. Are you kidding me? What? How would you... I mean, is Callum bisexual too? I doubt it. I mean, a romantic relationship, sexual interest, attraction, sexual, romantic... strictly business standpoints. At the time, I was very ignorant about the relationship. I didn't take them serious. I mean, you are in that age when some people even question their sexuality, and I understand that as well. I searched it and I wasn't sure of my sexuality. Exactly, as I mentioned, in that age, you know, and a lot of people still struggle in their 20s, you know. Some people go through their whole life struggling, asking themselves, who are they interested in? You know, it's the brain making their own assumptions clearly without, because of the lack of experience. You have to be exposed to every situation out there and you will know exactly what you want, basically. So for the people that are questioning about their sexuality and they're being stressed and scared and shit of that nature, just get out there, get with friends, you know, for a beer or something. Just get outside more. Be with friends, because this is a high side effect to people that are way in front of computers. It will fuck you up psychologically. So just get out there more. Just go fucking out there and be with right friends that support you either way. I want to see if I could form feelings for him. Of course, that's not how it works. Yeah, it doesn't. If you aren't if you aren't a bisexual, it probably will never happen. I mean, you're gonna have a friendly care for one another, but it's not going to escalate to sexual interest or romantic, you know, and have kids and family with this person. It's a completely different story. Of course, that's not how it works. I know I shouldn't cut the relationship sooner, but I was still so terrified of losing friends over it. I mean, losing one friend, TheKingNappy, I mean, it's clear that this guy had a huge persona about him. That Callum was completely seduced to it to a certain extent, while still, you know, to go this far is, you know, it's very, very interesting. TheKingNappy clearly had his claws, his pawns around him. Now, whether or not TheKingNappy liked that idea, probably didn't. I mean, it just sounds like TheKingNappy is a very he's a victim to his own self. It really showcases he's a victim to his own self. At no point am I seeing TheKingNappy taken to the next level, wanted to see Callum naked, and no point am I seeing those perverted ideas. So he's not like his friend, but at the same time he still did his levels of bad and manipulated and getting up there with steps. But at some point, you know, saying what he said about his friend Dekadurr, kind of is twisted and hypocritical. But nobody's perfect. We all did our fair share of some mistakes. I myself never really spoke to youngers, I mean underage girls, and having you know, a discussion like that, because I don't have interest in underage girls. But you know, I did my fair share of stupidity in my life as well, looking back. And just looking at this is a whole new levels. These are the situations that are very, I guess, very out there. The situations that I'm luckily enough haven't been a part of, because I was too fucking too busy freaking protecting my mother from my drunken father and not really having a life outside. On the internet, I wasn't even on the internet till like age, what was it, 19, 20. That was when I started PokeTubing. But then I was completely by myself, like completely on my own. Didn't really even have interest to find a girlfriend or even anybody. But then when I hit 25, I actually started to date and you know, experience a lot of things. And then afterwards I was like, oh, I need this. No, but you know, now I have a huge crave for family, so I'm trying to develop a stable life, finances to have a family, because in a couple of years from now, I do plan to see myself being you know, a father, a real primal father. That's who I want to be. So, you know, just trying to stabilize here, being a fucking alpha male to your own family, you know, shelter the people you love, and having a very small world of friends that I care about, and that's it. You know, the world is a giant place, but I'm not gonna make it my own personal business. you know. So stuff like this I can only talk about. I can only appreciate some of the things that were not happening, some of the things that did happen, some of the trades that I saw, speak on them. TheKingNappy, if I compare to Dekadurr, clearly is not on the same level, but he still did his own merits and spoke how he spoke was very hypocritical to the things that happened. But that was 2013. It was freaking 6 years ago. We cannot speak as if it's now. You know, 6 years develops a person, whether or not he's better or worse. I think he actually disabled and deleted his Twitter, which again is not the way to go. I mean, people want to delete something, it just makes them seem worse. When you have to, all the bad shit you did, you have to own it. You have to own to your mistakes. Speak on them, even if you are the fucking worst. Just speak on them, because a lot of people, we want to be ignorant to the people that make very questionable things in life. We want to be ignorant, but with ignorance we don't learn from their mistakes. We don't learn, we don't even try to understand anything. We just demand, judge, and we are the judge and jury when we shouldn't be. You know, the judge and jury should be in the court if we start really playing by the society rules. You know, society wants to pretend like it's either extremely bad or extremely good, black and white, and people can either stand on one side and be completely on the other side. But where's the gray? You know, try to think here. You know. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna be it for me. It was a long fucking video. But I'm also going to be questioning about uploading this, since it's a topic that's really off-putting, since I don't know any of these people. I don't feel as a part of the Pokemon community. I just feel as still a part of YouTube, a gaming community as it is. I never talked to these people. You know, I watch TheKingNappy's Let's Play here and there. The one with Shady was, you know, it was entertaining to say the least. I mean, some people said he was very loud and this and this and this, but that's what made it entertaining. You know, the guy was loud. The guy was, to a certain extent, he was probably very entertaining to himself, to him own self, enjoying the moment. And I cannot really, you know, go against him for that. You know, but the shit that happened, you know, that this is between the people. And speaking out to the public, and public start to become the judge and the jury. It's good to know the truth. The truth will always get out there, but I still believe that with internet, a lot of things are being taken personally by way too many people. And I spoke on it. I wanted to be neutral. I probably came out being judgmental at some point, for which I would say I want to apologize, but I would rather say that I do my fair share of mistakes, and this video is full of them. So take it for what it is. Leave in the comments how you see on to this. You know, leave critical thinking as well. I love critical thinking, because I would want to be challenged by a person out there that does not see my opinion as true, does not agree with my opinion, completely shatters it, and states why. You know, I want to see that. I want to see critical, constructible criticism. That's what I'm trying to say. This was a way too long video, guys. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this listen. I hope you have been doing stuff on the side, probably doing stuff, you know, that it's always good to like just listen and doing stuff. That's how I do it, but I don't know about you guys, how you do stuff. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Let me close this down right now.